you rock, most people enjoy a good story. Imagine a story where you rock. I challenge you to make a difference in the world and then share your story to inspire, bring hope and encouragement to others. Together, let us create a better, more peaceful world. Let's not just imagine world peace, let's work for it. Are you doing something rocking in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, Canada, or the world? I would love to have you on my show to share your rocking stories. We are here with Sally Meadows, author, singer, songwriter, award-winning author, and Sal, the science gal. Welcome.
Thanks so much, Marion.
Well, thank you for being on my show, and I see you have brought in your beautiful book. It's called The Two Trees. And what's the story about?
So the story is about two brothers. The younger sibling tells the story. His name is Jackson, and he really wants to connect with his older brother, and he watches how his brother has trouble connecting with other kids, and it unfolds during the story that his older brother has autism spectrum disorder.
Okay. And so what is autism?
Autism is a challenge that people have, and I want to emphasize again that it's a spectrum. So you may have some kids and some adults dealing with having maybe multiple disabilities, all the way to not having much difficulty with communicating with people and yet have some unseen things that we can't see. So usually it's characterized by difficulty in communication, again to various extents. There may be repetitious actions, and also some social and behavioral challenges. And again, I mentioned earlier that they may have some other difficulties as well. So some people on the autism spectrum may have ADD, they may have depression, they may have gastrointestinal difficulties sleeping, and also motor difficulties. And sometimes a lot of that is unseen by people external to that person.
So what compelled you to write this book?
So I'm a former teacher, as you are, and I also am the parent of a child who's on the high functioning end of the autism spectrum. And you know, just being a teacher and seeing my own son's struggles, it just breaks my heart that these children are often isolated. They may be not included in play and that kind of thing. And in some cases, in extreme cases, they can be bullied as well. And there's actually a scene in The Two Trees, a bullying scene, which is, you know, kind of upsetting. And, you know, I wanted to have a tool to talk to kids about the importance of being a good friend and being kind to people that are different than them, such as, you know, people on the autism spectrum. And so I do go around to schools and I talk about autism, and I read my book. I go through the Saskatchewan Writers Guild author reading program, and we talk about you know, autism, and again, the key message is the importance of being a good friend to other people, because you don't know what they may be dealing with that may not be obvious to you as a child, as a fellow classmate.
Well, that's awesome, and I'm all for educating, and we need to educate people because we create a better world, don't we?
Yes.
And a more peaceful world. And yes, it's almost like an anti-bullying program that you're kind of going around and talking about speaking, eh? And so tell us about your speaking engagements. Where do you go and how does it work?
Well, so far, over 3,000 kids have seen my presentation here in Saskatchewan. And I actually did something in New Brunswick as well. So I had about a couple hundred kids there as well. And so when I go into the schools, I read the book, of course, as part of the author reading. We have a period of discussion time where I do talk about autism and my key message as well. And then I open the floor to the kids. Do you have any questions about autism? And then, of course, I also give them the opportunity to ask me any questions about my journey as a writer as well. And then what we do, which is I think unique, is that we we do some hands-on activities. So we have a good chunk of that time we do hands-on activities, and I brought along some of the things to show. I've brought along some rocks and minerals and dinosaurs, and you may be wondering, well, what's the connection with the book?
I love to find out the connection, because I was going to say you rock for bringing all those beautiful rocks on, but also for talking about this difficult subject. So yes, what is the connection? Share with us how these are related.
Well, you mentioned earlier I'm Sal the my name is Sal the Science Gal. I used to do science shows for kids and hands-on activities with them, and I'm kind of pulling that whole part of my life into the book. And in the book, the little boy, Sid, who has autism, he loves his dinosaurs and he loves his rocks and minerals. And it's a great opportunity to have the kids be exposed to some science things that they may not in their regular classroom. You know, we were talking earlier that some teachers don't feel very strong on teaching science, and this is a good supplement to the curriculum. Being a former teacher, I do try to bring in activities and skills that are connected directly to the curriculum.
So do you want to demonstrate a little bit of what you would do with your dinosaurs or your rocks?
Well, there's not, I can tell you a little bit.
Okay,
there's not
sure.
much I can do with it, but
Okay.
with the dinosaurs, for example, and by the way, I target K to 4. So for the younger ones, they love seeing the dinosaurs, and I have some mini dinosaurs, and the activity is to match the dinosaurs, the baby dinosaurs, to the parents. So that's just a very simple thing. And it involves a sorting activity, you know, which is an important thing for kids to be able to learn how to do, because some kids struggle with that.
Exactly.
And then the rocks and minerals, there's a couple ways that I incorporate that. Sometimes I'll ask questions, there'll be a bunch of samples, and I'll say, which one do you think was a former tree? It used to be tree, and now it's a rock. And so that one right here is this one right here. This is petrified wood, and this is a real rock sample. And it was very important for me to bring in real rocks and minerals and real crystals for the kids, because a lot of these kids, especially if I go to rural communities, won't have that opportunity to actually be able to touch and feel and examine. And you know, I bring in magnifying glasses and all that kind of stuff, and you know, to have that opportunity.
And it's wonderful, and I know even in city kids would not have necessarily that access and that. So tell us a little bit about the gemstones or the minerals you brought in. They're so beautiful too.
Well, this one right here is an amethyst. And I think we were mentioning earlier, I believe it's the gemstone of, or the birthstone of people who are born in February. Probably a lesser known one is this fluorite, and you can see that it's characteristic by having this very blocky look. And then I think everybody loves this specimen right here, which is quartz, with these gorgeous crystals that, and quartz has a variety of different appearances, but this is natural. This is the way it actually appears in nature.
Beautiful, beautiful. And as you said before, students don't have an opportunity for hands-on, and that is so important for learning. The kids can physically touch things and see things. So introduce your dinosaurs to us too, because I know as a teacher, the students love dinosaurs. I taught dinosaurs for many years, and they absolutely love dinosaurs. I think most students would like to have a pet dinosaur.
They would indeed. So on the right there is T-Rex, on the left is Triceratops, and in the middle there, I'm still trying to decide exactly what that is, but it could be a Brachiosaurus or an Apatosaurus, so I haven't quite decided. It was never labeled.
Okay.
I think I got it many years ago at a garage sale for my own kids, and so yeah.
So tell us more about you go out as speakers. So how can people get a hold of you, and what kinds of things can they do to book you to go out and talk in schools?
Well, one thing I want to mention is I do partner with some autism organizations. I haven't done a few events with them, and I am looking to do maybe a little bit more speaking to adults about the challenges of being on the autism spectrum. People can reach me at my website, sallymeadows.com. I also have a Facebook page, which is Sally Meadows Music. And by the way, the Two Trees has its own Facebook page, and so you just have to search the Two Trees and you'll pick that up. And what I love about it is it gives articles sometimes for teachers, for parents, as well as keeping people up to date with what's happening with the book.
So you're kind of a resource.
I am. I hope to be a resource. I know that when I've done school presentations where I've partnered with Autism Services of Saskatoon, or PATS, which is Parents parent advocates for autism treatment in Saskatchewan that and actually another one was Autism Speaks Canada. I've partnered with them in various ways, including fundraising. But I just love to be there to share and to listen actually to parents who are going through some of the struggles I did to varying degrees, having a child on the autism spectrum. So I really enjoy being a listening and sympathetic ear for them as they're going on their own journey.
Well, that's wonderful to hear, and knowing that people could get a hold of you and if they have any questions about autism, and you're a great resource. So tell us some of the projects that you have that are up and coming.
So it looks like I'm kind of going in the direction of incorporating my science background. I've got 2 degrees in science, even more into my writing. And so even though I've got a physical sciences background, my degrees are in geology, I've been more and more interested in nature and wildlife and animals, and especially photography connected with that.
Okay.
So I'm working on 2 manuscripts right now, which are close, just need to be tweaked, that are connected to the wildlife that I've seen down at the pond near my house. And so I've spent a lot of time observing it, and I'm just really enjoying going down that direction of that connection with photography and with the animals that I see. So.
And nature is so important, and we need to protect it.
Absolutely.
And so any way you could be an advocacy for that is important. And I think I saw that you had a calendar coming out.
I do. It is out. I just got the large ones. I've got small and a large calendar that features my and my husband's original photography. And yeah, and you can, right now it's only available at one place, sallymeadows.com.
And the purpose of the calendar is to share your photography, or?
It is to share my photography. Again, you know, I write in a variety of different genres.
Okay.
I write children's books as well as for adults. And one of the things that I learned is that it's probably best to just narrow down a little bit. And I really feel that the direction that I'm going to go in this next while, like I said, is got to do with nature. So whatever that branches out from the photography and educating kids about the importance of conserving wildlife and that kind of thing, that feels like the direction I'm going in. Now, having said that, I've also been asked by parents on the autism spectrum, would you consider writing more books? And yeah, so that's something that I've been also in the back of my mind as well.
Well, thank you very much for being on our show. It's been great having you here, and good luck with your future projects and the 2 trees. I'll just put it up here again for you to see it.
Thank you so much, Marion. This was really fun. I enjoyed it.
Thank you.